Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hey, sorry I haven't been doing anything with fish, and I'm going to start up this new tank again. Look, from time to time I do product reviews or I try to do some tips and tricks on things. This is going to be some tips and tricks on setting up an aquarium for the first time. Everything you've read online, it scares the crap out of you, I'm sure. Everybody tells you to do it this way, do it that way. I'm going to try to simplify it and make it as easy as possible as I can. Look, this is just a 10-gallon tank. Now what I'm going to start up here is, this is going to be African Cichlids. I miss them. I had a huge tank before and we recently moved and I'm jonesing for fish and I miss my aquarium. So this is the first time since I was 18 years old I've been without an aquarium. And this was actually my hospital tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do African Cichlids. They're going to be shell dwellers. As you can see, all the shells I've got in here, they're ready to go. I've got some crushed coral in here to try to help buffer my pH. I've got my thermometer here, got my heater here, and I'm doing a sponge filter. If you look back on my channel, I've done plenty of reviews on sponge filters. I like them. They're easy. You don't have to worry about a lot of mechanical stuff breaking down. And when you're using a filter for small fish like I'm going to use, these are the smallest fish you can have when it comes to African cichlids. These are the smallest. Shell dwellers only grow to about maybe an inch, inch and a half. And they'll create a colony in here and they'll live and breed in those shells. Now, getting back to starting an aquarium from scratch. There is so many rules and different thoughts to this. The easiest way would be to go and get someone that already has an established aquarium. Get some used media, which would be either the filter, media that's in the filter that they're using, that they're discarding. You can bring that over to your tank. That will seed the new tank with the bacteria that you're going to need. Or get some of the like crushed coral or gravel or whatever they're using and bring that over to your tank. And that will start your cycle really fast. It's what allows your fish to live and flourish in an aquarium, square box kind of community, shall we say. Your fish actually will eat, and then the waste that they create creates ammonia. And as the ammonia in the tank builds up, a bacteria comes along that's called nitrite. Nitrite feeds on that ammonia, and then in turn, they convert that bad situation into a good situation, and it creates nitrate. Nitrate is what you want to have in your system that your fish will flourish from. So we've got to get to that process, and we're starting out with just fresh water, gravel, nothing going on in there, and that's your first part of this whole equation. Now the way to do that, you can buy these starters. Like I said, if you don't do the already seeded media trick, which will start you off immediately, you can start your fish within a couple days by doing that. Then you've got to buy bacteria in a bottle, basically. You go to the store, it's in a bottle, you put it in your aquarium, it starts that cycle off, and within a couple of days, 7 days or whatever, you can start adding your fish to it. As long as you've gone ahead and you test it. Now that's the next part. We have to get a test kit. Now you can get one of these more expensive kits. This is a freshwater master test kit by API, and that has all your different tests that you're going to need to monitor your tank. Or you can get a little bottle with a test strip, which are just little test strips that you dip in and you look on the back of your chart, and it tells you exactly what you're going to need and what parameters you have to be in. Really not as hard as it's kind of sounding. So I'm doing something else. You can do another cycle where you put some fish in there, and unfortunately they're going to be throwaway fish because they're probably not going to survive that cycle. You're trying to get them to that point where they can live in that nitrate water, and a lot of people don't like to do that, and it's hard on the fish, and you may have some survive, like you're doing goldfish or something like that, or they call it a throwaway fish. I don't like to call throwaway fish. Guppies, small guppies, little shiners, whatever it is, to start your cycle and get that bacteria going and get that waste going. You can do what they call a fishless cycle, where you're going to use some fish food, this flake food, and once a day you're going to drop some flakes in your tank. Like your fish are there, that's going to break down, it's going to cause ammonia as it's breaking down there, and then that starts that cycle. Now this is going to take a little longer. It's going to probably take 6 to 8 weeks if you're patient enough to do that. This is a great way of doing it. The cheapest way of probably doing it without getting into a lot of stuff if you're worried about price and you want to get the cycle going. That will do it also. So those are different ways of doing it. Now, the other thing you're going to have to monitor is you're going to have to monitor your pH levels. Now, your pH can start from like 6.5 all the way up to or like a 7.6 or even almost close to a 9 for African cichlids. Now, my water here comes in around 7.6. I'm in the higher 8.0 range, and that'll be fine. But that's why I'm going with the African cichlids. I don't want to go with some kind of chemicals that are at the lower and raise my pH every time I do a water change. So I'm going to start with these guys, and if this works out with the shell dwellers, I'm going to go and probably upgrade to a larger tank again and start in some bigger Mbunas or some Tanganicans, African cichlids for a larger tank. But for right now, I'm jonesing and I want to start this up. You just got to monitor things. You're going to have to monitor your ammonia, make sure you do have ammonia present in your tank, and then as that cycle starts to change, and it starts from the nitrite and then into the nitrate. And now nitrate can be lethal also. That's why we do our water changes. You know, once a month or whatever, we're going to watch our levels according to our tests, and we want to stay in a certain range. We're going to get rid of that nitrate when it gets too high in our tank, and that'll bring it back down again, and that whole cycle of the fish eating, pooping, converting goes on throughout the life of the fish. That's about it. I hope this was helpful to you. Keep an eye on this channel because I'm going to be bringing in the African cichlids soon and start this colony, and you may be interested on how they're going to work out. Please share with your family and friends. Give me a like. It lets YouTube know you like my videos. Take care, everybody.